brought in over the last few years that are just emaciated, just not enough food in the fisheries out there, and we get them all healthy and get them back out there. We even did that with a whale. Some of you aren't old enough to remember JJ the whale. Do you know that was 20 years ago? We brought a gray whale in and kept it for a year to feed it up and make it all healthy and put it back out there in the wild. So that's what we try to do. And about 70% of the time, we can get these animals back out there, and that's a really high percentage. But for that other percentage, for the ones that can't be put back in the wild, that's okay. It doesn't mean they need to die. Imagine an owl that breaks its wing. You're flying across the road in the middle of the night, gets hit by a car, breaks its wing. Somebody finds it, they bring it here, our veterinarians try to fix it, but they can't. They can't fix the wing and the owl can't fly anymore. Well, an owl's not like a chicken chasing seeds, dude needs to fly. But the cool part is, it doesn't need to die, we take care of it for the rest of its life. It could be a very long life. You're going to meet some animals today that are over 50 years old. Ones that have been with us for decades. And these animals get a second chance going to those schools. So hopefully you will enjoy them. Hopefully you have a little love left in your heart after Valentine's weekend last week and you can fall in love with them and help us to help them in the future.
Let's start local. I know, she is the coolest. This is Opie, and you're looking at a Virginia opossum. And our show is Rescue Tales, so I want to tell you her tale, her story. You see, she came to us, a lady driving home at night. She noticed an opossum walk out on the road in front of her car, and she hit that opossum. It was an accident. She didn't mean for it to happen, and she felt terrible. She got out of her car, she saw that she had hit and killed an opossum, turned around. Before she got back in her car, she started thinking very smartly. She had heard somewhere that opossum, they're marsupials. They're related to kangaroos and koalas. The marsupials have a pouch, a large full skin, a pocket on their belly that they carry what?
Babies.
No, they're lunch. No, they're babies, you're right. She had heard that even if a mother opossum is dead, maybe, just maybe, there might still be some babies alive in that pouch. She got back out of her car, she opened up the pouch, and sure enough, 5 little baby opossum, each about the size of my thumb. Little tiny guys. She knew what to do. She scooped the whole mess and brought it up to us at our rescue center. 11 o'clock at night. She said, here you go. We said, thank you very much. And we started taking care of them. You know what? Here's the cool thing. All 5 survived. All 5 of those little babies made it. It's so cool. This one here, though, didn't ever gain weight. A problem that we've since solved. She never learned to climb. She never stayed away from people. She was not a thriver. She was not going to make it in the wild. And our vet staff said, you know what? That is your new ambassador opossum. She's been traveling to school groups ever since. She's now 3 years old. 3 years old, that doesn't sound that old. But get this, opossum only lived 3 years. Short life for an opossum. This is a very old opossum. In 3 years, though, a female opossum can give birth to over 50 babies.
Whoa.
You know what? If I had 50 kids, I'd only want to live about 3 years, too. Amazing creature. This is the only marsupial in North America, the only pouched mammal. They are somewhat immune to rattlesnake venom. They eat a lot of ticks that carry Lyme disease. They eat slugs and snails that are a garden. They're so beneficial to have around. I think we got to give these guys a little bit of respect.
Good point, David. That is his name. You might remember that from grade school or from kindergarten back, some of the adults here singing the Laughing Kookaburra song. But that is what, I don't think that's what he should be famous for. They call him the Bushman's Alarm Clock because they do that every single morning. So, okay, that's kind of cool. And they do it every single night. They do it right before sunset. There was a lady in Grant Bay, California, just up north of here, and she thought, oh man, I want to hear that every morning and every night. And she found a way, she got on the black market, found a way to buy a kookaburra, and she lived in an apartment.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can hear this for miles, and not everybody in the apartment complex thought it was very cool, so she got in a little bit of trouble, but the animal came to us. This little guy has been with us to go to the schools, and what I like to teach the kids is I like to teach them about something he does that's amazing, not just his voice. This is a kingfisher. They're in the kingfisher family, but he ain't catching fish out in the air. Outback. So what he does, he catches the next best thing, lizards and snakes, and these guys are famous. You can go online and you can look up videos of a little tiny kookaburra, this little dude right here, catching a 6-foot-long snake. That's crazy. Their beak is specially built with little notches in it. Their neck is like so strong like the Hulk, and they can whip that snake back and forth and make it into a limp noodle. Now, the great part is they'll sit there with the snake hanging out of their mouth for like 3 days, eat a little bit, digest, eat a little bit, just hanging out like a piece of spaghetti. Now, he's not the most beautiful bird we have. We have many beautiful birds. As a matter of fact, this next one Gabe thinks is the most handsome bird we have because if you look at its head, it looks just like Gabe.
Oh,
You know
that's a
what?
turkey
Bald
vulture.
jokes are really easy, buddy. This is Whizzer, and I do think he's magnificent. Check this out. Show off a little bit, Wiz. This is Whizzer, and he is the turkey vulture. What a cool bird. This guy gets up in the morning. First thing the vulture does is he sunbathes. He might be there all night and warms himself up. Once he's nice and warm, he takes off his perch, flaps those wings just once or twice, and his wings lock in one position. He becomes like a glider and starts to soar. Big, lazy circle. He looks lazy. He's actually working. He's a puppet like this. Look at his nose. He has a hole that goes all the way to the top of his beak. He takes in as much wind as possible. And when he smells something really stinky, something really rotten, something that smells totally disgusting and gross, and has been dead for a while, you know what he says? Lunchtime. He eats carrion. He eats dead stuff. He comes down, he lands on top of it, and starts to eat. And he eats, and he eats, and he eats. He'll take so much food, and put so much food in his vulture belly, you know he's too heavy to fly? He will gorge himself so full, he can't get off the ground. He's too heavy. That's ridiculous. Let's say you're that vulture. You've eaten that food, and he has very, very limited flight. He can fly maybe 30 or 40 feet, not enough to soar free. He's been with us 27 years, and I live for the day where he gets some respect. For instance, kids, this October, when you play soccer, how about you guys name your soccer team the Turkey Vultures? So cool, and then your parents can sit there on the sidelines and go, "Go Vultures!" Amazing creature in your neighbor. That's the black and silver does not mean he's a Raider fan. That's Turkey Vulture. That's Whizzer. Thank you very much, Whizzer.
So we're going to go from handsome to cute. I'm talking about the monkey, not me. This is one of the cutest animals, a little spider monkey. All right, let's see the show of hands. Who wants a monkey as a pet?
No.
You're all very silly. This is something that people try to do all the time. Yeah, in the 30 years that Gabe and I have been doing this, we've received over 50 monkeys from government agencies. That people get in trouble, they have them, a neighbor turns them into something, or they just go abandon them, like this one right here. Somebody had her as a pet, and in 1994, she was found in a garbage dumpster in Southern California.
Aww.
Yeah, somebody threw away, she was making noise in there. She lived, it's okay, because she's been with us ever since. Yeah, she got rescued out of there. She spent about 6 months in our hospital. Our vet's taking care of her for pneumonia and all kinds of things. And then she finally got to us. We taught her that going to schools is the coolest thing in the world. Spider monkeys are amazing. These guys are rainforest experts. They can cruise through the trees as fast as a horse can run on ground. They swing. They just swing. They've got this amazing prehensile grasping tail. They've got this amazing big long alien fingers. And they don't jump around the tops of the branches. They just swing. Now Maya's been with us going around to schools for a long time. She is now 38 years old. Yeah, that's nothing though. We rescue monkeys all the time. We just got one from a rapper, a famous rapper that thought he was above the law and had to have the animal taken away. I can't say his name because it's still a court case. That happens all the time. But we just got another monkey that is now her roommate that's even older than her. Yeah.
Aww.
This is Hobo, and get this. She is 52 years old. She is so old, she was rooting for Tom Brady. This is the capuchin monkey. Capuchin, it's a word that refers to the Capuchin monks of France, the religious monks. And when the first explorers saw them, they said that black cap and brown cloak makes them look a little bit like those religious priests. Now this guy, this girl actually, Hobo is so smart. She lives in a family group and she has a language. She has certain calls that mean certain things, like an appeasement display. Watch when I tell her that I want to groom her, I'm being friendly. Watch this. Nothing better. This girl here, she's amazing. You know, here's the deal. Everybody loves monkeys, right? Do you know 90% of the world's monkeys are endangered in the wild? 9 out of every 10 types of monkeys are disappearing because of loss of the rainforest. We need to do what we can to protect our rainforest. I'll give you an example of how it works. She's from Costa Rica, and the country of Costa Rica protects their forests. So this particular species of capuchin is thriving and doing very, very well. Shows me we protect the habitat, the animals will do just fine. That is the smartest animal I've ever worked with. That's a little Hobo, the capuchin monkey.
It's not the smartest animal you've ever worked with.
Dave, she is so much smarter than you are.
Get off, my turn. This is the smartest animal we've ever worked with.
It's a crow.
I don't like it.
This is the smartest bird in the world. Well, not him, he's an idiot, but ravens. Ravens are the
Oh,
smartest
ravens.
birds in the world. These guys, they've done studies. They've done studies to prove it. They put them up against primates. They do cognitive research, problem-solving studies in universities where the animal has to maybe modify a tool to get at a tool to get at food. And that kind of multi-step thinking is like ravens, chimpanzees, and a few college students. They're so smart, they're found on every single continent except Antarctica. An incredibly intelligent bird. They're found everywhere. They even exhibit something they just recently discovered, was studying it, exhibit something that nobody else has. The chimpanzees or that little monkey has no ability to do this. They have facial recognition. Facial recognition better than your iPhone. They have multi-generational facial recognition. They can only recognize you after 40 or 50 years, but they can recognize your kids. How cool is that? That's incredible. Now, this little bird came to us because a little 13-year-old boy found a nest that had been blown out of a tree in a big storm, kind of like the one we had a few weeks ago. We had that big windstorm. Well, sometimes the nests get blown out. He found them, but instead of calling a rescue organization or a veterinarian or animal control, he took them home. Took them home and tried to raise them himself, and after the fourth one passed away and there was only one left, he finally took it to a vet. They evaluated it and said, you know, you really need to get this into proper hands. And so that's when he came to us 10 years ago. This guy is now one of my favorite animals to take to the schools to teach kids about intelligence. It comes in all shapes and sizes. And when somebody calls you bird brain, you just look at him and say, thank you. Dude's brain is the size of a shelled walnut, but he's still one of the most intelligent animals in the world. And he's so smart, he knows to get off stage right now. Yeah, because he doesn't want to be out here for this.
You guys like reptiles?
Yeah.
Do you like snakes? Her
Yeah.
name is Precious. And Precious is the venomous snake of California. And as I get her out, you might hear her talking. And it's funny, she doesn't talk with a hiss. You know what she does? She makes this
She
rattling
rattles.
sound. It's like a rattling noise. This is your neighbor, the Pacific rattlesnake. Check her out. Oh shoot, where did she go? No. I think that's funny. I did that in school once. I said, oh shoot, where'd she go? And a teacher stood up screaming and ran out of the auditorium. She left her second graders and was gone. This is Precious. I think she's beautiful. Check out the rattlesnake. Isn't she beautiful? Yeah. I said, isn't she beautiful?
Yeah.
You know, so misunderstood. For instance, the rattle. People always talk to me about snakes because they know I love snakes. I was out there on the bike path. There's a rattlesnake shaking its tail, and it did not stop rattling the whole time I was there looking at it. You know, when I hear a rattlesnake shaking its tail, I don't think it's angry. You know what I think it is? Warning. I think it's scared. It's a warning. It's saying, back off, leave me alone, or I will strike to protect myself. Let me tell you her tail. And her tail involves her tail. You see, a man was out cutting his grass with a big weed whacker, and he cut her across her tail really badly. Almost cut her tail completely off. And this guy quickly got a box, scooped her up in a box, and brought her to Walmart. Walmart is the largest retailer in the nation. Come on, San Diego, speed up a little bit. Retail, anyways. He scooped her up, sent her to our vet hospital. Our vet staff saved her life, but when she strikes, she always misses. And that's why we have her. Kids, she has an important message to say. We're having a problem with rattlesnakes in children. Last summer, 9 kids in California were bitten by rattlesnakes. Used to be 1, maybe 2. Last summer, 9. Why the increase? Are there too many snakes? No. There's way too many children. No, not too many children. No. What I think it is people messing with the snakes. If you see a snake, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. They deserve to live alongside of us. Pretty much, you leave them alone, guess what? They'll leave you alone. It's pretty much that simple. The beautiful Northern Pacific rattlesnake. That's so Precious. Let's say goodbye, Precious.
Oh.
Yes, in California. I know, it's an alligator. It doesn't belong in California, but remember I told you we got lots of monkeys over the last 30 years, but we've also got about an equal amount of alligators. I mean, people think they're going to make this into a house pet. What are you going to do with a pet alligator? Take a bathtub with it? Yeah, I don't think so, but you know what? That's where this guy was found. We got a call from the LA County Sheriff's Department 30 years ago, right when we first started. They called up and they said, we have a wildlife emergency. We have a problem. We need your help. We're doing a drug raid. They were doing a drug raid, and they came into the house and found one of these guys. So we got there, and it was so funny because there was all these sheriffs, and the sheriffs were like all swatted out. They were all like bulletproof vests and helmets and goggles and massive big guns, and they're standing in the hallway like this, about 4 or 5 of them. And when Gabe and I walked in, they went like this. They weren't going to go in there, even with all that equipment. Little 4.5-foot Spike, he was in bad shape. He had swords in his mouth, he had hookworms all over him. We got him out there, he charged the door, we just laughed at him. Pulled him out, and we got him back into good shape. It took about a year. It takes a long time for reptiles to heal, but we got him back in good shape, and he is one of our greatest animal ambassadors. When we go to schools, kids have an immediate connection to these guys. They grew up with Steve and Bendy and Bob. They grew up with the Krats. They grew up watching cartoons that were actually educational. Most of us adults, we grew up with Looney Tunes. They taught us that roadrunners are bigger than coyotes and porcupines shoot their quills. We didn't learn much, but they get it. And it's such a great opportunity for us to talk about the most amazing thing about alligators. This animal, in my lifetime, and I'm not that old, I was old as a kid, in my lifetime, these guys were almost extinct. We almost wiped them off the planet. But in my lifetime, we've also saved them. Over 5 million alligators back in the wild. How cool is that? Now, we have saved the bald eagle, we've saved the peregrine falcon, we're saving the condor, we've saved the Channel Island kit fox. So it's a great thing to be able to tell the story of success. It's not all doom and gloom. All right, you guys know how to say goodbye to an alligator. You've said it all your life. Now you get a chance.
See you later, alligator.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Do you know what alligators drink?
What do alligators drink?
Gatorade.
Oh, yeah. Don't encourage him. Just get more dad jokes.
All right, let's head to the Arctic and meet an animal named Yukon. Check it out.
Oh.
It's over here.
This is Yukon, and you are looking at a caribou. Everybody say caribou.
Caribou.
It's kind of fun to spit on up there, buddy. This is the caribou,
Wow.
the wild deer of the Arctic Circle. These guys live way up high where it's super, super cold. They have fur just like a polar bear. These hollow hairs for insulation. They have big, wide hooves for walking on snow and ice. They have
Look at his
big,
velvet.
wide mouth with strong lips,
See
which
his-
make them exceptionally
there's
good
that velvet.
kissers. No, that's for grabbing on lichen and moss and small plants. Now, caribou has some of the largest herds on the planet. Some herds up to 500,000 animals all living together. And they move 1,500 miles south and 1,500 miles north every single year. It's a huge migration. They go 1,500 miles south, get away from the cold weather. But do you know why they head back up north? To get away from the mosquitoes, little tiny mosquitoes. They're amazing animals, and they are the ancestors of the reindeer. Do you know what the difference between a reindeer and a caribou is? Reindeer can fly. No, reindeer have been domesticated for close to 18,000 years, a long time. Amazing animal that was found in Missouri, the state of Missouri. Not a climate that's conducive to keeping a reindeer or a caribou healthy. This guy, even now when he gets up above 85 degrees, he heads to Tahoe, and where he has his little summering grounds, so he can get where it's nice and cool. I think he's fantastic. Look at those antlers. Those grew out of the skull in about three months. 3 months it takes to grow a whole set of antlers. And then come December, you know what happens?
They fall out.
They fall off his head. I hope it happens in front of an audience because people freak out. It's my favorite time of the year. And then he starts to grow a whole new set again. Here's something else that's very interesting. Both boy reindeer and caribou, and both girl reindeer and caribou have antlers. They're the only deer that is an equal opportunity deer, with both sexes having those nice antlers. Beautiful creature, that's Mr. Yukon, the caribou. Come on, buddy.
As you can see, we get an amazing variety of animals. We have about 150 ambassador animals. Animals that have been rescued and can't go back in the wild, and we have enough. So here's what you can do to help us. If you see wildlife in distress, super easy. Call a rescue organization, call a rehabilitator, call your veterinarian, call the zoo, call us, call somebody who can get that animal quickly and get it back out into the wild. Thanks everybody for sharing our animals with us. Have a wild day.